Okay, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to make a report based on multiple tables. Now we'll go to the database tools here and open up the relationships. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a report about the student's debts. Now the pertinent data for all the debts is in here, but there's also information from the students table that we would like to use, like for example maybe their last name and their student ID, and over here we have the course code and the course name, so that in the report we have more than a simple ID to look out, which really doesn't tell us very much. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this, and here is our instructions. We want to use the last and first name, last name and the student ID of the student, the course code and the name, and then all this information on the debts. Okay, so to create such a report, the method we're going to use today is the report wizard. Click on that under create, go to the students table, get the information you need out of that. We need the last name of the student, their ID number. Then we want to get the information out of the courses table, and we want the course code and the course name. Okay, finally we want all that information on the debts, so we'll select the student debts table, and these are the three fields we need: debt type, the aid code, and the debt amount. I put the debt amount last. Well, I wanted to. I can rearrange these later on. It doesn't really matter that much yet. We'll come up here. Now it says, how do you want to group these? Now, because student debts is related to these two other tables, courses and students, by a foreign key primary key relationship, you can group on either of these two tables by the students, and this is the default grouping it used: the last name and the student ID. And over here it tells you all the debt information underneath it. You can also group by the courses. I don't want to do either one of those because this is a default grouping that it uses, and I want to define my own, and I can do that. So I'll use a single report based on the student debts table. Okay, now we'll click next. Now it says, do you want to do any grouping? Yes, I do. I want to group on student ID. Okay, now underneath that I want to subgroup on a different value, the course code. So I add another grouping level, and that's exactly what I want. Now we'll go to the next field, and it says what would you like to do? What kind of sorting would you like to do? Well, within the subgroup underneath course code, let's say I want to sort by the aid code. Okay, so within each of those subgroups it's going to be sorted by the aid code. Now for summary options, it gives you the option of producing summary values on anything that's numeric in here. And the only numeric field in any of those tables is the debt amount from what we selected. So I'm going to do a total of the debt amount. Now detail and summary, that means you get all the records and all the subtotals and the totals. If you choose summary only, you only get subtotals and totals. Okay, you don't see the individual records. So we do want this. Click on that, go to next. Now it says what kind of format would you like, and I'm going to choose outline, and I'm also going to choose the landscape orientation. That's always good for a report. It's getting printed out. You got more room to deal with. And here, adjust the field width so all fields fit on a page. Yes, that doesn't always work, but it tries its best to do that. Click on next, And here you can give a name for the report. You can type it in here, and that'll become the title of your report as well. Now if I click finish, I get a preview. Alright, now this is what we get. Pretty fair looking table. You can see up at the top it's grouped first by student ID. Student number 11, which happens to be Beth Swanson. And underneath that we subgroup according to the course code. So CS 101, here we see all of Beth Swanson's debts for that particular course, tuition, fees, and books, and their subtotals and totals down here at the bottom for everyone. Okay, now you see some other ugly stuff in here that doesn't look so good, like summary for course code. This is kind of placed in there by default when you use the wizard. We don't really like it there, so I'm going to get rid of that. But first I'm going to close my print preview, hit the escape key, and you go to design view, and this is the perfect place to get rid of that summary message right there. Just come over here, click on the box, hit your delete key, it's gone. Do it for the other one. That's much better. If you go back to the view, you can see that it's gone now. Okay, now what else do I want to do to this table? Excuse me, this report. Well, I'll go back to my instructions and see if there's anything else that we have to do. No, it looks like we're all done with that. You could pretty it up a little bit by putting meaningful titles on the captions here. Here it says grand total. You might want to change this to say subtotal instead of sum. That doesn't mean very much. Okay, that's the end of this lesson. Thank you very much, everybody.